Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Future Foundation Spider-Man Stealth Suit. And they got me. They tricked me hard. I guess it wasn't because it was because I was not looking as close as I should have been, and I thought he was going to have different articulation than he has, and I got tricked. I'm wondering if anybody else did too. I'll get to that when we get to the articulation section and the aesthetic section. But this figure is not bad for Marvel Legends standards. It does do some things really well and some things pretty poorly though. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Before we do anything else, of course, we have to talk about the discrepancy in the way the figure looks compared to the way the box looks. The renders look so much better. So much better. It's not even close. I mean, obviously I know he's bigger than the render right there, but look at the head shape. Look at the shape of the torso. Look at the shape of the legs. Look at the shape of everything. The figure looks so much better in the render. It still has some flaws because the shoulders are still too low, but it looks so much better in the render. It's nuts. Okay, so let's get that out of the way and let's do some measuring. We'll start with that as per usual. This guy is just shy of 16.5 centimeters. That's going to make him pretty close to 6.5 inches. Here he is up against Darwin. And here he is up against a McFarlane Batman. And here he is up against a rival clan's Ninja. Okay, alright, so size-wise that's fine. Let's do a question of the day before we do anything else. Which non-red and blue or all-black suit Spider-Man design is your favorite? Just suit-wise. I don't care about stories or powers or anything like that, just suit-wise. Which one do you guys like the most? I think I might go with the true armored... No, Cyborg Spider-Man. Cyborg Spider-Man, that's the one I want. Okay, alright, that doesn't really count, but I'm cheating because it's my question. Let's talk about the aesthetic on this guy. This right here, it looks like it gives him a diaphragm joint. And if there was ever a figure that could hide a diaphragm joint, it is this one. It is this one. They didn't though, and it looked like they did because they made this black line lead right up to where it would be the diaphragm joint, because that's where the split is for the ab crunch. And then this black line hides the ab crunch. The ab crunch is hidden so well on this figure, it's nuts. But it still should have been a diaphragm joint. It's so frustrating. And because of the way this is designed, even though I know what it is, while handling it, I have thought to myself, maybe there is a diaphragm joint there. There's not. But boy, should there have been. They didn't give us anything new here. That's very disappointing. Though this torso section does seem different to me than the previous versions of it, but I don't think it's new. That aside, the paint job is pretty good on this figure. It's not perfect. There's some fuzziness here and there, but it is pretty darn clean. I do have the lighting a little bit weird because he's solid black and solid white. There's not a real good way for me to do that, so hopefully you can see enough. But yeah, the paint job is super clean. The eyes especially. It looks really, really nice. Very, very clean. The line work, not perfect. I know. But it is pretty darn good. So that's a good thing. I mean, that's a big deal for this guy. It's all line work basically, so that's very nice. I will say I still don't like the sculpt on this. It could be a lot better in a lot of ways, but really it needs the shoulders to be up higher. The shoulders are so low. The traps end right here, and then the shoulders don't start for like at least 1/8 of an inch. That's a lot at this scale. It looks weird. Bigger shoulders, higher shoulders. Otherwise, the paint job does save this thing. It does look pretty good overall, and once you pose them, you won't notice a lot of the issues, so I'm gonna be a little more generous with this one because the paint is pretty good, and say the aesthetics get an 8 out of 10, just because the paint job is really, really clean, and it's not easy to do a white and black paint job, and they did. So I'm giving them a little bit of credit. As far as accessories go, we get the 2 fist hands and we get the 2 thwipping hands. That's it. I don't think that's good enough. We need at least gripping hands, and we should have wall crawling hands. Also, always for every Spider-Man, we have the molds. They've made the molds. It's all the same bodies. Give us the hands. And then we get 2 clear triangle handle web lines that are permanently curved. I still don't understand what those are meant to be used for. and they're clear, which I don't like. I like the painted or the solid white plastic ones. I don't like the clear ones. Second question of the day, clear web lines like this or white ones? I would prefer white ones with a black wash, but if I had to pick, just solid white would be my choice. Anyway, worthless web accessories, no gripping hands, no wall crawling hands. I'm going to go 0 out of 10. There's some spite points taken away in there. Okay, let's talk about the articulation. The head can look up. We do have the disc hinge going on here. It looks down, rotates side to side, and movement on the ball peg is there, but it's not going to give you a whole lot to do. Butterfly joint on this guy is really nice. The arms can go all the way back. That's very good. It's helpful for a Spider-Man figure going forward. It's not as far because I couldn't cut it up as much, but it does go forward. So we'll put the arms, that's about neutral right there, give or take. And then the butterfly joint can go that far that way and that far that way. So that's a pretty good butterfly joint. Shoulders, if you force them, can get up to horizontal. This is still such a terrible base mold. Full rotation. Bicep swivel is okay. Arms are still super bubbly and weird. Double jointed elbow is fine. Could be better though. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Ab crunch, no diaphragm joint. It does go back, but he gets super pregnant. And it does go forward, but it doesn't have a ton of range. And then you get your waist twist. His obliques are still really big. And yeah, this is just not a good base mold. I thought for sure they were going to give us a new base mold based on this right here, and then I was wrong. So very, very disappointed with that. Legs go forward, but out to the side, so that kind of blows. And then they don't go back at all. Going out to the side, they do have almost splits, so that's really nice. I like that. Then you get your thigh swivel. That's okay. Double jointed knee. That works fine. By the way, the pins are the wrong color. They match the outside, not the inside. That's a bummer. Throw some paint on there at least, Hasbro. You cheap bastards. Shin swivel is okay. It's a nice one, at least because it's slim. By the way, if you notice he's wet in some places, it's because I had a hell of a time getting his legs straight. He came in the cardboard box, which means he wasn't posed at all. He was just a complete like coffin type packaging, and his legs were warped like this. So I had to really fight this figure to get the legs straight, and I had to use hot water, cold water, whatever, and that's why he's wet if you noticed any wetness. Ankles do go all the way back and pretty far forward, and the ankle rocker is decent. So, articulation on this guy is acceptable, but not good. So I will give it, it's a 7, it's fine, but it's certainly not above average, and it's not impressive at all. So now it's time for the final verdict on this release. The paint job saves it by far. It's going to stand out on a shelf. They did a pretty good job with it. The sculpt on this figure in individual chunks is good. It's nice and organic in a lot of ways, but proportioning is just all over the place. Ratios are off. It doesn't look right. So that's not great. And accessories suck. So I'm going to give this release a final verdict of only a 7 out of 10. It's just not good enough. Stop reusing bad molds. Invest in some good molds if you're going to use them 1,000 times over. These tiny little shoulders on top of these bubbly arms. Like, there's no way in hell his shoulder should be smaller than his bicep. That's weird. That's so weird. His obliques shouldn't stick out that far. There's so many problems with this mold. Stop using it. That's the problem. Okay? You keep using a bad mold. And there it is. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down is okay. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.